Welcome to the Codes Podcast. Here, we are going to explore the invisible architectures that shape the human experience in love, power, relationships, intimacy, leadership, self-awareness, and life purpose. My name is Inês, and I'm your host for this series. So it's new moon, and we are here doing this call. And my intention here is for you to connect with the power that you have with your own voice and the connection you have your own voice. Although it seems weird, but my weakness all my life was my voice. The thing that terrified me the most when I was young was public speaking. For me to be here with you doing this live was a lot of work. Actually, speaking in English to you was actually a lot of deep work, because I was also the worst person in English in my school. I didn't know how to, languages was not really my thing. Was very hard for me to learn new languages. I had to actually go to Italy and live abroad to actually learn a new language, as I did with Italian as well. So for me to speak in English and do a live here was the hardest thing on the entire world for me. When I used to be younger, I used to be bullied because I didn't know how to speak. I didn't know how to do a proper presentation. My sentences were not coherent. And the reason why I'm giving this topic to you, and I want everyone to know this. First is new moon in Gemini, and Gemini is about communication. So it's their strength. And the second is because one of my goddess, hello, I'm here on Zoom and I'm here on the live. So I have people on Instagram and people here. And so for me, I realized later in life, the reason why we don't speak with coherence, the reason why we have difficulties are because, one, nervous system dysregulation. When our nervous system is dysregulated, nowadays I even observe when I don't sleep well, when I'm tense, my voice changes. When I'm relaxed, my voice has been changing. When I'm tired, my sentences, sometimes they are not fully well articulated as if I have rested. And the third and most important one is self-confidence. When a person doesn't have confidence in themselves, when you don't believe in what you say, and let's say something very simple. You are going to do a presentation about something that you had to study, let's say when you were young, okay? And you were being tested in public speaking, in a public presentation about a topic that you don't relate with, but somehow it's what in school they told you to speak about. So it's something that you are not passionate about. There is no emotion about it. You don't feel deeply connected. And on top of that, you don't believe in you. That's a perfect equation to fail in public speaking. One of the reasons why I'm here and I speak and I come to you, and my speaking, I know it's not perfect. However, I have come to conclude that when we are passionate about something, when we love something, when we know what we are speaking about, doesn't even really matter sometimes what you say or how articulated it is. But people feel the energy, and people feel your connection with the energy. And that connection, that passion, the personal story, it's what people resonate with. That's why I was not talented in, poetry. when I was young, and now I write contemplative poetry, and soon, hopefully, I will publish my book around poetry, because in school we are tested to speak and to write about things that we are not connected with. We must be, especially women, we must be connected with. Like the other day, I was in, the other day, 2 days ago, we were in the book fair here in Lisbon, the Feira do Livro, and I was with a friend. And you see, some books you connect with, some books you don't connect, and some books you can read, like you are reading and you understand. Some they're just boring for you, and has nothing to do with how they wrote. Has to do with the fact that is not the topic that interests you. It's not a topic you resonate with. Instead of the author shaming themselves, saying, oh my God, maybe like I'm not good, I'm not a good writer. No, it's just not the good person to read it. Não é sobre o autor, é sobre o leitor. And so it's all about the connection you have with something. And of course, the commitment with the discipline as well. It's not just having passion and tomorrow I'm talking and become the best speaker. It also requires discipline. Every time I came to speak about these topics, I am better. Every time comes a new insight. And so coming back to the root of that, of course, associating with the work we are doing, because inside the academy, for those who are in my opinion, we are under one of the most powerful modules, because we are really going deep around the father wound, the mother wound, but their relationship with the father wound and the mother wound, and how it affects our relationships, but also the relationship with money, our financial patterns, and how they also mirror our childhood. Maravilhosa! And so how they mirror our childhood. So associating that, I was contemplating, when I was young, I came from a family that was, when I was young, from my mother or my grandparents, when they were alive, when my family was alive, they were very strict with school. So for them it was very important that I have good grades. Happened that in school system, I learned, a part of learning how to read and write, I don't remember almost anything that I learned in school in all those years. All the things that I learned have nothing to do with what I do nowadays. I didn't study emotional development, I didn't emotional intelligence, I never studied how to connect with myself, self-love. I never studied about humanity. I never studied about fashion design. That was later in school, how to be an entrepreneur, nothing of that. So you tend to be good and you tend to have passion about the things that you are naturally talented for and are connected with your destiny. So what was happening was I was not good at school. I was never good at school. And so for that time, even my parents thought maybe she's not enough intelligent. Maybe she just not good. Maybe, you know, and so they wouldn't say, they wouldn't believe as a high capable woman. I never heard, oh my God, you are amazing. Also because intelligence, now we know that there is multiple intelligence, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, the intellectual intelligence, intuition, they're all different kinds of intelligence. That's why some people are not good in social environments. They don't know how to do a conversation. They seem like a bit paralyzed, and at the same time, they are good at math. Some are not good at math, but they are highly intuitive. They have this incredible wisdom. They know how to speak. So in school, we are only often trained to develop one kind of intelligence and one kind of expressing our voice. So most of it's like telling people, telling a fish to climb a tree. You know, he will think his whole life he's stupid. Or saying to a monkey to live underwater. So we were not trained to do and to become better at our own skills because we didn't learn from young age to get to know ourselves. On top of that, our parents have the same perception. So we maybe didn't heard amazing things when we were young. Also, we didn't come from a generation where we are used to celebrate the success of each other. So we were not really celebrated. Also, when we were, at least myself, I was not really celebrated. So what happened in later in life is you constantly doubt yourself. You constantly have this voice, am I making it? Do people like it? So it's when I say in the book fair, na Feira do Livro, like it's not about the book you are reading. It's about, is it a book that catches your heart, that catches your interest, that it speaks about the themes you are interested on. Because I go to the Harry Potter novels and I was with a friend and we saw like the Hunger Games book and I was like, amazing book and successful movies. But I rather go into esoteric books because that's what I love. And I know I will read the whole entire book and about those topics. This happened to me in my childhood. Things change later. I really believe that in the future schools are going to change. Minha querida Ruth, my dear Ruth has my favorite voice in the entire world. So she for sure knows the alchemy for the voice. We are speaking about voice and for sure you know the alchemy. Ela sabe a alquimia toda porque ela tem a voz mais bonita que eu conheço. And so I wanted to remind you of that we came from a generation of not knowing ourselves. And with that came another insight, which is about self-love. Self-love is not something, you don't earn self-love. You don't say, I love myself, and then you love yourself. You feel that you love yourself through the person you become. I only started to truly love myself, you know when? Very recently. I would say 1 year and a half, more and less, I started to truly feel another level of self-love. And it's not through the words that we say to ourselves, it's not just speaking to the mirror, although I give these exercises and are wonderful insights, transmissions, but just exercises, but they're just on the surface level. When you start to get to know yourself, when you start to get to know your talents, when I started to work with womb healing, which is actually the second module of my academy, you know that the womb and the throat are connected. So when you release your fascia, when you stretch your pelvic floor, when I had to work with sexuality, when I started to work with womb healing, my voice started to change. If you hear my voice from even 2 years ago, it's completely different. Has nothing to do. The more I develop the connection with my body, the more my voice changes. The more I get to know myself and the more I have wisdom and connect with myself and see how people also change with this method, the more confidence I have in myself. The more I focus on what I truly love and get better, because we easily get better when into with the things we love, because the things we love are the things that are connected with our destiny. So if we follow them, we see room for improvement faster. You start to improve faster and faster. And when you see yourself evolving at that pace, because you are finding yourself, you start to get confidence in yourself. You are like, oh my God, I did this. If I did this, wow, like I can do more. And then you do more and you expand, and then you open other gates. And then I created a business, I created another. Things fail, things work. And through the things that failed, I overcome, I learn the lessons. I resolve so many problems. At the same time, I develop myself. I learn about humanity. I alchemize in relationships. I have alchemized my voice. I alchemized my body. I see this amount of transformation, and you see, wow, this is me. This is me. And the person I am, looking back to the person I was 5 years ago, is when I feel so much love. I was like, wow. When I look back to the actions I took, the decisions I took to leave my job, to change the direction of my life, to change that relationship, to the most important, the pain I had to feel, the trauma I had to heal, and my willingness to go there, the familiar, the ancestral, generational patterns, traumas, wounds from the family, my willingness to go there and feel for me and for all of them. Like 2 days ago, we did a beautiful activation around feeling also the wounds of our father, of our mother, and to understand what they did the way they did and what they act the way they acted, so we can forgive, so we can forgive also ourselves and be in peace. It was so beautiful, and trust me, I have done so much work around this. Has been, I don't know, all my life, and every time there is a new layer, because when you unlock a new layer, you understand another layer. And when you feel that you love yourself is when you look back and you see, wow, I was in that place, I took that action, and now I'm here. Wow. When you see that evolution is exactly when you start to be so proud of yourself and when you start loving yourself. And this is why personal development matters so much more than what we think. So much more than what we think. Self-love and expressing your voice. Today is a new moon, and I have two things that I want to bring, exercises and actions that could inspire you, because how you change the pattern is not only to the ritual you do and to the meditation you do and the intention, but you change the pattern. The last phase of alchemizing is the action you take when you are tested. And so even today I had this example of personal power and honesty, because your voice lands in people the best when you speak the truth. It's not when the tone is right, but when you are in the frequency of truth. When you are real, when you are honest, when you are transparent. And so today I had actually a friend, client of mine who wanted to do an experience. And for my personal in-person retreats, and even my group retreats, and one is going to happen very, very, very soon in October. I don't know if you saw in the mailing list. It's different from the online programs, which is open to anyone, but the in-person, either private or either my retreats, they go through an application because I need to in person, I need to understand if the person is prepared and if I am the match for this person for what they are looking for, because I can be not the right match for them. And so when they ask me, we want to have this experience, like, and I don't know, we feel that we wanted to do with you, like, how would you create a memorable retreat for us? And then we went on a call, and I realized that they want something very different from what I offer. I really do experiences that are really meaningful, but they are really deep and they are so connected. They are oriented to help you connect with yourself, to help you become more self-aware. They tend to be contemplative, they tend to be introspective. Only in the long retreats, like in the end, we have like the fun rituals and the sex magic and all the deep energetic rituals. But the first is really a profound trauma healing work. And so I don't do light experiences. They are long-term relationships and they are deep processes. And so when I realize the person wants something more like light, fun, entertainment, I immediately say, like, I think we are not a match. Like, this is what I do, but I can direct you to someone who maybe can assist you. And in that moment, I felt so empowered in my own voice, because I felt every time you speak the truth, every time you are honest with someone, you feel incredibly empowered with yourself. The no you say, the no you voice, the boundaries you put, the honesty you put into the field with someone will bring you the right people. And the person was really grateful for my honesty. Because we are not here to only make money, we are here to help humanity to evolve. But we need to be the right match. And that was one of the things that I said, like, I'm really proud of myself. I'm really honest. And so observe in your life where you don't say no, when it's a hard no. And you don't want to say no because maybe you want to be polite, maybe you want to be the nice person, maybe you want to accept a job because you need money. Observe the times that you are not honest, because I want to end this life with the most powerful message for you. The most powerful and beautiful thing of personal development is the honest conversation you can have with yourself. And many people cannot have that deep conversation. Many people don't know how to listen to their voices. The problem is not, sometimes they're not even honest with themselves because they can't even hear their own bodies. They cannot understand either this is a good investment or not. In a relationship, investment in money, investment in business. Most people don't know how to listen to themselves. And if I tell you that the answers you're looking for in the world. They exist inside you. And the more you are honest, the more you voice your honesty, the more you are coherent, the more you feel free, the more you are real and authentic, the more your voice unlocks for you. And that is the most beautiful part, is what I earn. My body tells me when I'm with the right partner or not. My body tells me when this is the right decision or not. And that voice, that connection with that voice, is the most valuable thing you can have in your entire life. The most valuable thing you can have in your entire life. I love myself because I can even hear myself. I know where I'm going. I know who I am. I know my talents. I know when is a no. I know when is a yes. And that honesty, that clarity with ourselves, with our own bodies, is the most important thing in life. When a person invests in herself, it also tells me that she values herself. It tells me that she might not be yet where where she wants, but she is willing to be all in. And how you unlock your voice, how you unlock your goals, is not only how much times you do the exercise, but the intention you have and how present you are doing it, how all in you are doing it. How many times you say yes to yourself. And so tonight, it's communication. And before communicating your feelings, what you want to the universe, to the gods, to love, to the superior force of the universe, have this conversation with you. And be really honest. Where are you at? Where do you lie to yourself? How many times you lie to yourself? How many times you sit? One of the most powerful practices I have is I sit with a candle and I contemplate and I write and I think about the topic. I go and walk and around the topic. I hear my mentors and then I process in my own voice. I invest in myself so I can improve myself. I can develop this relationship with myself. The more I develop this relationship with myself, the more I develop my own voice with myself. And that connection inspires others, changes your relationships, and changes everything. And this is the message I have for you tonight. We are doing so much work inside the academy. It's one of the most, has been deep, has been profound. The retreat we are going to have is going to be on another level. The academy you can enter like really anytime. We have over 80 hours. We really are this year going through all the wounds of humanity. Everything. We are going through everything. Everything. There is nothing that I don't know that I know that I don't teach there, that I don't share. Everything that has changed me, everything that has changed my voice, everything has changed my physical body. That you see, my physical body is this drastic transformation. Everything I share because I want everyone on the planet to know this, because your life changes. And this is the kind of investment that no one can take from you. Once you change that, there is no turning back. You don't come back. It's for the rest of your life. Is a love for the rest of your life. Is a voice for the rest of your life. Is an intuition for the rest of your life. And that is the most valuable thing we have, because when we die and when we will come back to the other life, we don't bring anything from this life, only our soul wisdom. So the more that we connect with that soul wisdom, the more we get truly wealthy inside. So thank you so much. And I see you inside the academy. Happy new moon.